I'm Anjana on Kaumudy Global, and let's know about the French elections, its impact on the people, and what is Emmanuel Macron's stand. The French presidential election was won by Emmanuel Macron on Sunday, April 24th. Since Jacques Chirac's re-election in 2002, he has become France's first incumbent president to win a re-election. Macron, who was running against far-right candidate Marine Le Pen, didn't have an easy time getting to the Elysée. Despite the fact that Le Pen was within shouting distance of defeating Macron in the early polls, Marine's victory shows that the incumbent president still inspires millions of French citizens. Unemployment is no longer a political problem in France thanks to Macron's economic initiatives. His handling of the pandemic boosted his reputation, whether it's his ambition of increased military and economic autonomy for the European Union or his capacity to speak frankly with Putin during the Russia-Ukraine crisis. The French are increasingly seeing him as a leader who can take the stage in the international arena. Macron, on the other hand, faces significant obstacles this time around. When the first round results were announced, Macron had a pitiful 28% of the vote, while the numbers gradually improved, culminating in an unquestionable and stunning 58% for Macron over 42% for Le Pen. It was not voter enthusiasm for Macron, but voter dislike for Le Pen that drove the improvement. The victory margin is nevertheless much narrower than in 2017, when Macron received 66% of the vote. The French have made it clear where they stand on radical politics. The majority of people do not approve of Le Pen's long-standing anti-immigrant prejudice as well as her pro-Russian, anti-NATO foreign policy sways. Her attitude of being less open to foreigners and the outside world, as well as favoring the French in queues for jobs, benefits and housing, has not helped her. Nonetheless, Le Pen's current vote total for the far right is unparalleled. With the political opposition at apex, Macron risks a tough second term. In her concession speech, Le Pen vowed a strong opposition bloc in parliament, and according to Macron's advisors, that appears to be extremely possible. With the far right at 40%, it indicates we have got more work to do. Clement Bini, France's European Affairs Minister and Macron's confidant, said. Health Minister Olivier Véran was more forthright, stating that a method shift was required as well as more consultation. Macron, on the other hand, will be tested by the impending prime ministerial parliamentary elections in June. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, a veteran far-left contender, has begun blowing the bugle in the hopes of becoming prime minister after gaining the majority of the left-wing vote in the first round. If he wins, Macron will be forced into an uncomfortable and stalemate-prone cohabitation. The presence of a defiant Le Pen and a confident Mélenchon is obviously bad news for the incumbent president. While unemployment has been avoided as a political issue in the current elections, Macron will have to confront the cost of living crisis as a top priority. According to the Guardian analysis, despite the fact that only the poorest 5% of the population are worse off than there were 5 years ago, a huge percentage of voters still report having difficulty making ends meet as a result of persistent squeeze. If energy prices continue to climb, Macron will have to keep his promise of keeping price ceilings on gas and electricity as well as a government rebate on fuel prices at the pump. Pension reforms are another problem for the president, despite the fact that people have largely agreed that delaying retirement is unavoidable. Macron has vowed reforms by autumn, including hiking the retirement age to 65 by 2031, saving for those in physically demanding employment. This is something he failed to do in his first term, and the public and opposition will be on his case. In his second mandate, Macron has promised to listen more and consult more. He'll have to adhere to it if he wants to re-establish his relationship with the voters who voted for him to keep Le Pen out rather than Macron himself. This voter base will turn against Macron at the first indication of a viable alternative, and these wounds must be treated as soon as possible if he is to remain in power. While his vow to listen more and be more open to consultations is encouraging, the problem is that he has made similar promises before. His supporters are hesitant to trust him. He has no choice but to connect more with his party members, citizens and councillors this time, promising a new type of governance. He doesn't have a choice. This is Anjana signing off. Do like and share this video. For further updates, subscribe to Kaumudy Global.